Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Midday Market. My name is Glenn Tompkins, Senior Instructor here at VectorVest. Glad to be here. Glad to have you here. Welcome back for the weekend. We had a weekend, and poof, just like that, the weekend was gone. But 5 more days to the weekend. If you can hear me, by all means, please respond in the affirmative, preferably with VV Nation, and let me know that I am coming across loud and clear. All right. Man, stuff's popping up on my machine. It needs to stop doing that. Let me know that I'm coming in loud and clear. Let me see the alert. How many people are here before I get started? The weekend is gone. A new week is dawning. Tucker Carlson out as Fox News. Is that what? Is that real, Mark, or is that fake news? Is that real? Holy smokes. Wow. When is Sean going to go? Max says yes. Tucker Carlson is out. Did he quit or did he get fired? Or was it because of the machine thing, the voting machine thing? Because if he goes, that means Sean's got to go. That means Ingram's got to go. If they were all, because they were all talking about it, unless they're going to use Tucker as the scapegoat. Oh, they parted ways, it says Mark. Okay, all right. That'd be very interesting. That's interesting. Is he looking to just go out on his own? It could be. He could probably get a lot more viewers just going out on his own. Hi, Boston. Glad that you're here as well. That was, yeah, if it was all, because if he got let go because of that, then that means Sean and Laura's got to go too, unless they were just singling him out. But if they just decided to part ways, then that's another story in itself. That's another story in itself. I don't like to get into politics, but that's big news.
I put a link in your chat.
All right. There it is. Joey put that in there. Thank you. Wow.
I put that in your chat.
No, I see it.
I didn't put it in for everybody.
No. I got it open. I got your chat open, so I can always listen to you yip yap about something. But I see it. Oh, Michael says it was because of the Dominion lawsuit. Oh, wait, if that's the case, man, then that means either Tucker is the scapegoat or there's more heads to roll. It's one of the two. Wow. That's a big name for them to be parting ways with. I'm just interested. Wow. All right. With that being said, welcome. Welcome back from the weekend. Hopefully you all had a great weekend. And I'm going to get you prepared for this week. All right. Got to get you. There's a lot of earnings coming out this week. I'm going to give you a list of stocks that I think should beat earnings, but I can only be 50% right or wrong, right? And based upon what I see in VectorVest, I'm going to give you some stocks that I think should beat earnings. Make sure you stick with us all the way through because that was going to be towards the end. So I think that on Mondays, I am going to give you something called Glenn's Weekly Picks. All right. And I'm going to, Joel, if you say Sean is next, that would be the default of Fox News. I think that Sean is the guy that's bringing in the viewers. You can't say Sean is next. I mean, if that happens, then Fox News is just going to have to do a whole rebuild. If that's the case, Joel, if that's the case. All right. So we got 163 people. Hey, give me an opportunity to share this on your social circles. Let's get 300 people in here. Let's get them prepared for the week too. The market's showing me signs of some wick-wackosity going on. If I look at the color guard, we got 2 red lights today. Friday, we finished with 1 green light. The market is going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And it's just been crazy. Joe says, do me a favor and like the video. Which video, Joe? You talking about this video? You talking about the live stream? Well, we'll get to that. Hopefully you guys, I'm going to wait till the end and make sure it was worth your time to be here before you hit the like button. How about that? I'm going to wait till the end to make sure it was worth your time to be here before I ask you to hit the like button. But I do want you to hit the share button. Well, Joey's going to put the link in the chat so you guys can share the live link right now. All right, so let's get this rocking and rolling. Interesting day. Looking at all of the major indices. Where's my finger? Looking at all of the major indices. All of the major indices are down. In the Jockey Club this morning in our live trading room, we did make some money on FRC. It was a tricky trade, on a day like today, but we did make some money on it, which was a good thing. We walked away with about a 4%, 4.5% gain. Coming off the heels on Friday with our MGRX trade, we made some, 15, 20% on that. So we got a little bit of a winning streak going when it comes down to our live trading in our jockey club. So CNN will snag. I don't think Tucker's going to go to CNN. I can't see that. If he sticks to what he believes in, there's no way he goes to CNN, Albert. Now, if what he was talking about on Fox is not what he really truly believed in, then I agreed that CNN can pick him up. But if he truly believed what he said on Fox, there's no way he goes to CNN. There's no way he goes to CNN. And that's just like saying if Sean Hannity left Fox that he would go to CNN. That'll never happen. So I don't think that Tucker will go to CNN. I can't see it. PBS, maybe. What about Newsmax or his own podcast? In Siberia Visitor, I think he's setting up for his own podcast. I think he's got enough wherewithal to possibly go for his own webcast. I can see that. Dan Bongino also left last week. Oh, darn. But he's already got his own podcast. Dan's already got his own podcast. So, I think he was more of a contributor. He had some stuff on the weekends that he did. I don't think he was that major a player on that station. He's already got his own podcast. Already said he didn't believe did he really, Reginald? Wow. So that might be setting up to go to CNN. Holy smokes. He might do what Glenn Beck did, set up his own network. That was another way to go. All right. That was big news. So I'm just spending a couple of minutes talking about it. Tucker Carlson's leaving Fox News. I think he's really setting up to do his own thing. All right. So we'll see. All right. So the market's a little wicky-wacky today. How do you take advantage of it? Well, the first thing we're going to do is go look at the market timing graph and get a feel. This is a 3-month view. The VVC, remember, it tracks, for those people who are brand new, this indicator that we're looking at now called the VVC tracks the movement of over 9,000 stocks. We feel that it is a better representation of the broad market move. Just kidding. He hated both networks, and I think you are right, Glenn. I think he is getting ready to set up his own deal. I think he is. I think he's got enough people to get, Glenn Beck did it. You're right. He did it. What's the other name? What starts with an O? O'Brien. What the flying flip is his name? Somebody's gonna type it in the room. Also on Fox and left or got fired. What was his name? Somebody. Thank you, O'Reilly. He did his own thing, and I don't think he's as strong as he thought he was without Fox. I don't think he's as strong as he thought he was without Fox. So not Piers Morgan. Hush, Fireblazer. All right. I've been talking about this level on the VectorVest composite of about 57.15. The market's been having a hard time breaking through. Right back to that level again 4 days ago. The 3 and the 8 are curving over, down day to day. So a couple of things that I'm looking for in regards to the market right now. I think the market has some more downside. I think that earnings are going to play a role in the movement of the market, even though the market is looking for what earning, I think people are waiting for what these earnings reports are going to come out. Number one. Number two, we'll talk about it today. More companies laying off people still. That's going to be a pull on the market. Number three, May is coming up. The interest rates rise again. That's going to hurt the market. So the market's got a more pull to the downside based upon the atmosphere that we're going through in the current market conditions. So I'm going to give a level. I think that the market can pull back down by way of the VectorVest composite to a level about 55.60. This is going to be a good level of support as the market looks like it wants to pull down. Number one. Number two, I've got a downtrend that we're outside of. If we break through that level of support and break through this level of a trend, I've got another level on the VectorVest composite sitting at 53.09. All right. Let's look at this from another perspective. We have indicators that let us know when the market is looking for a bottom. When the MTI gets to a level of about 0.60 on a scale between 0 and 2, the market's looking for a bottom. When the buy to sell ratio gets to a value of about 0.20, the market's looking for a bottom. Interesting that the market is close to looking for a bottom as we pull away from a swing high. That doesn't normally happen that way. But what that means is when I've used the words irrational exuberance, this indicator backs up that thinking. Notice that as the market came off of this level of support, it went up and went up and went up to that level of resistance. Notice the buy to sell ratio never moved above 1. What the buy to sell ratio looks for is the health of the market. When the buy to sell ratio is above the value of 1, the market is a little stronger because more stocks are receiving buy recommendations in this rally. Irrational exuberance. Nothing changed in the market to make these stocks really start to move, and the buy to sell ratio backed that up. Now, the only way you get this indicator is being a subscriber to the VectorVest system. A lot of people will tell you that what we show you, you can get for free without subscribing to the VectorVest software. So let me back up a little bit. How many of you thought that this was a good bullish run to make money? Type a 1 in the room. How many of you thought that this was a really good bullish run to make money in the market? Type a 1 in the room. Okay? Let me ask this question besides that. How many of you are long-term optimistic in the market? Type a me in the room. How many of you are long-term optimistic? If you're not long-term optimistic, type a no in the room. So when I look at this, a lot of people are long-term optimistic. Did I say that wrong? I'm not. All right, let me back up. Hold on. You guys are way. All right. Let me back up the question a little bit. Long-term optimistic. I didn't put a time frame on it. I just said long-term optimistic. How many of you think, let me ask the question this side. How many of you think that the market gets worse before it gets better? Type a 1 in the room. How many of you think that it gets better before it gets worse? Type a 2 in the room. I think that is a better question to ask. How many of you think it gets worse before it gets better? Type a 1. How many of you think it gets better before it gets worse? Type a 2. All right. That was probably the better question to ask. All right. And I'm with all of you ones. Now, there's a couple of people that have got the 2s. I don't think that there's anything currently in the market. For everybody who's typing a 2, I don't think that there's anything currently in the market to show that we've got any kind of optimism short term that the market's going to be rocking and rolling. Let me go put this on a 6-month graph. Put this on a 1-year graph. All right. Let me show you something else. Freehand line. Do I want this line? That's another downtrend. Ooh, looky there. Got a little bit of a wedge, but we broke to the outside of the wedge. That's fine. And actually, that's not a wedge. That would be a descending triangle. That would be a descending triangle on a 1-year graph. All right, and I don't think long-term, based upon what's going on in the market, what's going currently on in the market, that I think that we've got a lot more downside than upside. Earnings, what are we going to? And let me back up my story. 1, a lot more companies are going to start revising lower on earnings. Number 1, people are laying off people to help make the bottom line look better. Interest rates are going to still continue to rise because the Fed is adamant about getting inflation down to 2%. With those 3 things being said, the market definitely is going to have a lot more downside than not. looking at FactSet data, the data that we use on our weekly basis to determine what's going on with earnings, month over month, earnings are falling. Month over month, earnings are falling. A lot of you feel that we're not currently in a recession, but when more companies start missing earnings, I think the reality of a recession kick in. I think that we're currently already in a recession with the outlier factor is that unemployment is not high. All right, so the train is leaving the station. Platinum is decisively. I'm not worried about platinum yet. As a matter of fact, when you told me, Dan, about looking at copper, nobody cared. I put it out. I'm just putting that out there. Nobody really cared. Nobody feels that the copper thing is a real thing just quite yet. And I did a video on it. I'm not worried about platinum just quite yet. I've been keeping my eyes on the commodities to keep you aware of which commodities I'm keeping my eyes on. There's nothing that I'm keeping my eyes on as far as a commodity right now. I still like uranium. I still like lithium. Especially because of clean energy for uranium, because of EVs for lithium. But with what's going on in the market, even those spaces are being affected adversely because of the rising interest rates, because of the fears of a recession. So even though I do like those long term, I'm not telling you to jump on board with any of that just quite yet. So I'm not going to talk about platinum, just not yet. I'm just not ready. There's no other commodity that is on my radar right now. Precious metals, no, as long as the dollar is strong. I will say that if the dollar starts to weaken, then I am going to start looking deeper into gold, and I will let you know when that happens. All right? Are you saying to start picking up some contras? Pecan, that is something that I'm going to talk about today. That is definitely something that I'm going to talk about today. I think that contras, I am still playing a couple of contras. Personally, in my portfolio, I'm in TSLQ. I don't care what Elon Musk says. I saw a story that Elon Musk says he doesn't care about margins right now. He's all about growing sales. All right. I just know that if that's the case and the margins are getting hit and the stock's price goes down, I think I'm on the right side of the play. Even though I still think that Tesla is a good play. I think it's a fundamentally sound stock. But right now, short term, I think there's a lot of hurt, and I'm taking advantage of the hurt playing TSLQ. Does platinum behave the same as gold? I don't think so. I think they're both precious metals, but I don't know if platinum is tied to the dollar the way that gold is. Interest rates will continue into the middle of 2025. I don't know how long. I think a lot of people, and we're going to talk about that too. I'm going to bring that up in a second. All right, so I wanted to talk about what's going on in the market longer term. This is what we look like. And all I need to do right now is just let you know that I think there's a lot more downside to the market before it gets better. The Fed has decided that he's going to put the hurt on the economy. He already told us that, and he's doing it. We haven't experienced the hurt, the real hurt yet. All right, we haven't experienced, as many of you might think that, well, we ain't got it yet. All right, I just need you to be prepared for more hurt. All right, with that being said, let's talk about some news that's going on. Let's go talk about some news that's going on. And almost knocked over my coffee. That would have been sucky. All right, and this is, I don't think this is news. I think that everybody knows this. May FOMC meeting, we're expecting a 25 basis point hike. Economist says that's just an opinion. I think that with everything that I've just talked about, that the 25 basis point is baked in. I think it needs to be higher, but that's just me. Go after the problem. The problem is going after inflation. Then I think at a long time ago, he should have done one raise at 100 basis points. Everybody says, man, he would have killed the economy. Well, would you rather him just hit the economy real quick or kill the economy by 1,000 paper cuts? Just think about it from that perspective. The economy is already going to get killed. He already said that. And he's doing that by raising the interest rates. The economy is already getting killed. But would you have rather just quick question, would you have rather him just pull off the Band-Aid or experience what we're going through now? Just put in either Band-Aid or now. Just put in either Band-Aid or now. I wish he would have just ripped off the Band-Aid. I was a big proponent of one of these cuts should have been, one of these raises should have been 100 basis points. All right. Haywood says, Glenn, the VVC declined during the time of 130.23 to 320 period, but the following contras did even worse. Now, let me talk to you about contras, especially leverage contras. And I've done several videos that talked about the dangers of looking at triple leverage contras. Okay? They're tough. They are trading vehicles, even in a longer time period like that. What's that, 3 months or so? There's no way, January, February, about 2 months, there's no way I hold a triple leverage contra that long. No way. All right. If anything, I trade it for a couple of days, I get out. I get back in, trade it for a couple of days and get out. That's how you're going to do that with the leverage. Now, in those videos, I've talked about non-leverage contras. Those I would be more willing to hold on to. Lauren says, now doing it all at once is neither economically responsible nor politically realistic. I know now, but I wanted it later. I wanted it earlier than now. I've been calling for 100 basis point raise way longer than this, way before this. And a lot of you that did answer put in Band-Aid. We should have just went after it. You wanted to effectively really go after it. And you know what? It would have hurt the economy. But we're still hurting the economy. He's still raising interest rates, which is a hurt on the economy. But he's taking it in bits and pieces. All right. Don't accuse Jay Powell of being smart. I'm not saying that anybody's smart. I'm just putting it out there. You know me. I'm not an economist. I call it like I see it, folks. I call it like I see it. Uncle Nephew, what do you put the question mark for? Wouldn't there have been a major banking crisis with a big rate hike? You would think, Chris, with the rate hikes, the banks are supposed to be the beneficiary of that. Because when they lend out the money, they lend it out at a higher interest rate. So normally when interest rates rise, banks become on the positive side of that. But during this, that has not been the case. Interesting, right? All right. Here's another story. A Fed pause is coming. Stocks may not rally when it arrives. That just came out today. A Fed pause is coming. I don't know that a Fed pause comes this year, or if it does, it won't be till later this year. My opinion. I think based upon everything that I just said, I don't think that there's a Fed pause coming. If it does come early, it won't be until later this year. But this is a story on Barron's. The central bank is making progress in its efforts to rein in inflation by raising rates to reduce demand for goods and services. So that goes on to you, Chris. All right, question about would that have not hurt the big banks? I think that this answers that. Policymakers want inflation to keep falling, but they don't want to hurt the economy too badly. So there you go, Chris, answering into your question. And it isn't clear how much damage is still to come from the 9 rate increases they've rolled out over the past year. How cool was it you asked the question, Chris, and my story came up with partly your answer. Investors have been hoping the Fed will hit the pause button since last year, but share prices already seem to have factored it in. Lyle says, USA is wanting a digital dollar. What do you think about this? It scares the hell out of me, Lyle. I did a story on the decline of the dollar and talking about the CBDC, the central bank digital currency. I'm not a big fan of it. I think that it puts way too much control into the government's hand on our money and what we're doing with it. Yep. All right, next story. Fewer money managers are bullish on the stock market now. I think that this backs up the whole idea that it gets worse before it gets better. All right. Stock we made money on today, First Republic earnings report to shed light on the depths of the bank crisis. I still think that there is another shoe to fall for all of the other regional banks that did what SVB did, that did what First Republic did. They've got to report these bond losses at some point. I think they're still keeping themselves pretty on the books because they haven't called them in. But at some point they got to. At which level would you play the VVC on the downside regarding the head and shoulders platform? When it breaks through a level of support, Simon. When it breaks through a level of support, let's get back into that real quick. You're talking about shoulder, head. Is that what you're talking about, Simon? Where's the neckline? That's about the neckline right here. My neckline is that level of resistance, 57.15. Right at my level of resistance is right there, right at the neckline. So I got a shoulder, head. There it is. Yeah, there it is. Remember the settlement was real bad in October and look what happened. I don't disagree with it. Is it possible that all the negativity supports the contrarian upside possibility? Ooh, I don't know. I don't know if there's a contrarian upside if these banks still have to claim these bond losses when they bought the bonds at such a much lower interest rate. I don't know if there's a contrarian part to that. All right, what do I think about Coinbase? I'm not a big fan of crypto, and I think FTX put a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths when it comes down to crypto. I saw a story that the crypto winter is over and that crypto is going to run up to 100,000. If it does, it does. I listen, and I want to phrase my words properly. Do your homework when it comes down to crypto. Crypto is still a speculative space. You get out of it what you put into it. And I'm using that from an informational standpoint. Now, has crypto made a lot of people a lot of money? Absolutely. Were a lot of those people lucky? A lot of them were. But more people were unlucky. Do your homework when it comes down to crypto, Perfume Aroma. That's all I got to say about it. All right? That's all I got to say in regards to it. All right? So what I mean by that is don't back up the truck and put your life savings into it. If you want to take a piece of it, by all means, do it. But don't back up your life savings into it. Does that make sense, Perfume Aroma? Hopefully it does. All right, let me get back into the stories. Next story. Calls to move away from the U.S. dollar are growing, but the greenback is still king. I did the video on the declining dollar. A lot of you loved it. It had over 4,000 views. Thank you for supporting that. Crypto is innovation. All right. It's still speculative innovation, Joanne. Now, when you say innovation, let me ask you what you mean by that. The ability to trade or do transactions digitally is the innovation part. And I think if that's the case, then when the metaverse gets closer and closer, I think crypto will play an important role in that, because if you're in a metaverse as a virtual person, how do you transact? You don't reach in your pocket and pull out $100 bill. Crypto is going to be the way to do that. Some kind of digital currency will be the way to do that. Blockchain, I do like blockchain in the ecosystem of crypto. But when people talk about crypto, the question came up, Joanne, was looking at Coinbase. I'm not sure that that's a blockchain. I think blockchains offer a lot of innovation, Joanne, and Ethereum. When it comes down to crypto, I will pay attention to the blockchains. All right. And it is necessary because it's a full ecosystem. Coinbase, Bitcoin, Dogecoin, those are all coins, but they don't work unless you have a blockchain to bring that through. All right. The Fed coin is coming, guys. They said in June. They said they're going to start releasing, what was it, the Fed Now? That is the coin, the digital currency, Fed Now in June, either June or July this year. So I at some point in time, I got to do a video on it. I just haven't had the time to do it. All right. This is Bed Bath & Beyond. Retail store closures to sharply accelerate going forward. This is on Bed Bath & Beyond. a meme stock, whatever you want to call it. They're going through bankruptcy, and I thought that they raised a whole bunch of money to avoid that. Guess it wasn't enough. So Bed Bath & Beyond is getting, look at that, down 34% today. Good. I wish there was a contra ETF to play that. I'd be all over it. There's been a significant contraction in diluted earnings despite the basic earnings per share being near all-time highs. You got to understand, why are we still at all-time highs? How long ago have we're still going through the getting out of COVID, the whole getting out of COVID stuff. So earnings are still at all-time highs based on that. But I think that the reality, as we've gotten further and further away from COVID, the reality of earnings is starting to fall. All right, and if you look at the FactSet data month over month, the amount of companies missing earnings is increasing. Not by a lot, but, in excess of 6% as opposed to the previous month. So, yeah, they may still be at all-time highs, Dan, but we're still basing this on the coming out of COVID era. All right, so if that's the case, while we were still in COVID, a lot of this stuff was ugly. Now it's a lot less ugly, and people are going, woo, wow, rocking and rolling. 2 rounds of fundraisings failed to meet the goals for BBY. Thank you, Roger. I think at some point in time, you got to realize, and I hate that. I like Bed Bath & Beyond. There cannot be 940,000 stores. Someone added too many zeros. I think it was 900. Who said it was 904? Is that what it is? 50,000 retail stores will close out on the current. How many stores? Let's go do this. Let's Google it. How many stores does BBBY have? Somebody said it can't be 940,000 stores. Look, 949 stores. You're right, Ramor. You're right. It's 949 stores. So the story got jacked up. 50,000. Wow. Oh, UBS says. This is not all Bed Bath & Beyond. These are stores around the country. All right, just stores. Bed Bath. All right, there you go. So no. It is that 940,000 stores, just retail wide, because the story says about retail stores. Does that make sense, Ramor? Does that make sense? So it's not Bed Bath & Beyond doesn't have 940,000 stores. All right, there we go. Man, I thought you were right. Laser calculates 50,000 stores closed. Blah, 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 blah. No, and I misread it too, Ramor. I was sitting there and going, all right, so Bed Bath & Beyond is in the news. Disney began second larger round of layoffs, bringing the total to 4,000 jobs. So when I talk about the raising of the interest rates, more and more companies are definitely, I like that. I want that. More and more companies are feeling the effect. Oh, look at that. That's kind of cool. Feeling the effect of the rising interest rates with more and more layoffs. Looncoin. What the heck is Looncoin? Joanne, I ain't going to stop none of you from buying crypto. I ain't going to push it. I'm just not pushing it. All right, the stock peaked at the moment they canceled Michael Lindell. They did this to themselves. That was, again, that's the politics behind it. Don Lemon just fired from... What? What's up with all of these people getting fired? What? Does that open up the room for Tucker Carlson? Is that what you're saying, Fernando? What? Can somebody back up that Don Lemon just got fired from CNN? Can someone confirm that? Holy smokes. Why are they doing all the firing on these stations while I'm doing a live? Maybe him and Tucker can hook up. I don't know. That would be interesting. Wow. All right, next story. Coca-Cola gets a lift from higher prices. How does Tesla grow sales by lowering prices, but Coca-Cola gets a lift from higher prices? Interesting. All right. Fernando says, don't get fired, Glenn. Joey, you got to keep me from getting fired, bro. Holy smokes. All the big names.
I can't help you there.
Oh, dude, all the big names are getting fired, bro. You got to help me out here. Holy smokes. Woo.
I ain't got no pool.
Dang.
You see that image I posted?
No, hold on. Where? In here?
No, James. You were looking at it. You just looked at it.
Wow. My agent and I have been terminated by CNN. I'm stunned after 17 years on CNN. I would have thought someone in management would have had the decency to tell me directly. Holy smokes. This is a heck of a day for news. Good. Googly muggly. All right. So interesting. I wanted to show the difference between Tesla lowering prices for more sales, but Coca-Cola is just doing the opposite. Kind of interesting. All right. Cheaper Teslas are hurting profits, but this is it. But Elon Musk plans to keep slashing prices. He doesn't. I saw a story. I think I put it out there that right now he doesn't care about the profits. He doesn't care about the profits, which is, I think it's a silly thing. That's my opinion, but I'm not Elon Musk. He's all about generating the sales because the demand is there. Interesting. Two different stories. One is lowering prices, but I did see another story that he is raising prices on two models in the U.S. Globally, he's cutting prices, but in the U.S., and again, I think it's because of the demand. The smart thing is to take advantage of the demand. I'm going to shirt Tesla also. Glenn, you're on it. What shirt? I'm going to be on a shirt? Oh, gosh. BYD is giving him a run for his money in China. We talked about that, Ramor. BYDDF, is that the ticker symbol? BYDDF is giving him, again, they're putting out the cars at $11,000 a piece. An electric car. Now, it's only got 186 miles to go on the charge, but $11,000. So it's going to be very interesting. All right. I got a story from our VectorVest hot stocks, AT&T. Week one, quarter one leads, 10% drop. Is this an overaction or a sign of what's to come? Folks, if you want to get stocks outside of what we talk about here, you can always go to our main website, which is www.vectorvest.com. Once you get to our main website, go over to where it says blogs, go down to hot stocks. We put out a stock every day. Also follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Just search for VectorVest. We put out a lot of stuff, folks. We definitely put out a lot of stocks. Joanne says people are silly to think that he's lowering prices because of the cost of it going down on batteries. I think he was very clear, Joanne. He was lowering prices because he wants to increase the sales. That's what it's all about. A lot of people are saying, well, he can afford to do that because the commodity prices are coming down. And my big question is, if he can afford to make this many cuts on the car, means he was charging way too much ahead of time. From that, it gives me a different perspective on how I look at Tesla. Now, I understand this is America. This is the home of the land of the free and the brave, and da da da. But you know something, man, that just tells me that he was just charging way too much money for the Tesla. Okay, that's all I got to say about that. I think that's the biggest variable for getting $500,000 plus a year. Our car is just very expensive going into China. We've got import duties. We've got transport costs. I understand that. 30% of the car's price is the battery. So you're saying, and again, somebody came at me on the comments and saying, well, he can afford to do this because commodity prices are going down. All right, that's fine. But Boyd is kicking his behind. How are they putting out a car for $11,000? So does that mean that realistically that Tesla could put out a car for $11,000 realistically if Boyd can do it? I'm just asking. I'm just asking. Okay? So that's Elon working on cornering the market on EV cars for the long run. I don't disagree with that either. He's the big boy in the space. Elon wants to make money and help people. I hear that as well. Make money or make gobs of money. China, and Kevin, you're right. The labor costs in China are cheaper. So then maybe that adds to the ability for a company to put out $11,000 car. Okay. I'll accept that. And because that's absolutely true. You're absolutely right. 186. I saw it was not 186 kilometers. I thought it was 186 miles. 186 miles. Crazy part is that Tesla lowers the price and everyone thinks that's crazy. But other manufacturers offer $5,000 to $10,000 rebates. That's okay. Does he not get the ability for the rebate, Chris? All right. And Uncle Nephew says it's not a full option car like Tesla. I know that too for 11, but it's an $11,000 electric vehicle. $11,000. $11,000. It may not have all the bells and whistles, but it's still $11,000. You gonna tell me that Tesla can't do it? Now, maybe Tesla can't, because the cost of making the car is a lot more expensive in America than it is in China. Maybe he can't get an $11,000 car, but I think he can get a lot less than what he's got right now. And Chris says Tesla doesn't have the cash rebates at purchase, not talking about the Fed rebates. Okay. Yeah, and Albert's right. Doors are optional on that 11,000 car. And I'm thinking the steering wheel might be optional, or tires might be optional. All right. John says, how much that car? The Boyd car in China is $11,000. $11,000. Hell, I can go buy that right now. Let me just go pull out one of my credit cards. I'll go buy that cash right now. All right. Kenneth says you pay for that golf cart. Oscar says $150 Tesla by the end of the week. No, that ain't happening. That ain't happening. And it is probably a Flintstone car. And and that would be very environmental. No motor, just feet. All right, last but not least, let's talk about a lot of earnings coming out this week. Wow, you guys are funny. You guys are so funny. I saw an IKEA car, Glenn. Did you have to put it together? Did you have to put it together, John? You can buy an electric golf cart at Lowe's that will go 40 miles for $9,000. 40 miles? And how fast will it go, Mark? It'll probably go like 20 miles an hour. All right. So a lot of companies reporting this week. So I got some stocks out of this list that I want you to keep your eyes on. What was this? Oh, I already looked at that. Let's go back into the software. Let's go look at my list. Let's go look at what's going on. A mixed market today. The VIX is up. Which means I got a lot more fear coming into the market. So we have to drive electric cars to save the planet. Really? Listen, I'm not getting into that. I do like a smaller carbon footprint. All right. I do, and that's all I'm going to say about that. I do like a smaller carbon footprint. All right. Meta and Microsoft will be key indicators. You saw in that list, there's a lot of tech stocks reporting this week. Hey, Natasha, I'm waiting for price to come down and it drives itself. If it drives itself, price ain't coming down too much. You know how much you got to pay for that technology? And you know something, Kevin, I'm with you. Even with a smaller carbon footprint, I don't know why we haven't talked about hybrids. Can I get an amen on that? I don't know why we haven't talked a lot more about hybrids. We still got the gas part of it and we got the electric part. Listen, let me get an amen. I think that should have been the bigger talk rather than just trying to throw us into straight up electric vehicles. I really think that we should have started on the path of hybrids. That would have made more sense. That would have made a lot more sense to get more people actively going after, I like this. Maybe I'll push more towards the electric. But I think that this would have been the better way to go for most people. All right, so hybrids don't have the stunning performance the pure electrics have. I don't need all. Listen, why not ease me into the field? Why not ease me into the space rather than trying to shove it down my throat? Yes, I'm on the bandwagon with the EVs because I think smaller carbon footprint It does give us an opportunity to make money. I'm all about, if it don't make sense, it don't make dollars, right? So I'm trying to make a lot of these things make sense to you. I think that the innovations, and Joanne is right about being an innovator when she was talking about crypto. I think the whole EV space brings a lot to the table as well. So I like the space from that perspective, but the competition, with the exception of Boyd, I don't think Tesla's got much in the way of competition. I really don't. Ford is coming after them, all of them. Tesla is far and beyond ahead of all of these people, more so than anybody else. Tesla's the big boy. All right. So mixture on the market. I'm watching the VIX. I think that the VIX rising is giving people more of an inclination that the market's got more downside than upside. People are getting fearful. They're getting fearful of knowing that interest rates are still going to rise. They're getting fearful that a lot of these companies are going to miss earnings. They're getting fearful because they see the layoffs coming and still coming in. The fear is coming back into the market. But the VIX is not at a value of 20. Once it gets to a value of 20, we have a heightened sense of volatility. It's not quite there yet, but nice jump on it. Big news. Here's the stocks that hit my news radar today that we were looking at. There's Tesla down. Again, I'm loving my play on TSLQ. The stock is, I think that the stock gets down to a point of being undervalued. Type of 1 if you believe that. Type of 2 if you don't. I think that at some point in time before it rebounds, that Tesla falls to a point of becoming undervalued. Type of 1 if you agree with that. Type of 2 if you don't. And that's fine. If you don't believe you me, if you go against what my thinking is, this is a non-judgment zone. I'm not berating anybody. That's not what I ask the questions, because I want to interact with you and I want to know where your heads are. I really want to know where your heads are. I think that that's going to be a telltale sign to know when the decline in the price is over. All right. I think that the stock's price, you know who else did that most recently? Apple. Apple did that as well. As much as I love Apple, Apple was overvalued, then it took a hit and it became undervalued. I think that that's what goes on with Tesla. I think it gets near or below that 141. All right. Kevin says not sure yet, and that's fine. Again, like I said, it's not all about me talking. I like to get your input as well. Talking about the dollar, talking about platinum, talking about commodities. The dollar is down today. That should be a good sign for gold, at least today. Coca-Cola, even though they beat, look at that, it's flat. FRC, big mover. Disney, you would think that with Iger coming back, that he was going to try to repair the PR situation that was going on. I don't know if he's quite doing that yet, but they're only down a little bit. AT&T, the story that we showed on VectorVest website, down, but this is the big move because of fears of bankruptcy, 35%. And you know something? I don't think you could short it anyway. It's only a 19-cent stock. How many of you think that BBY goes bankrupt? Type of 1. How many of you think that there's something miraculously going to save it? Type of 2. Somebody can come in and buy them. 270 watching, 55 likes. No one tries like Glenn. Let's give him some thumbs up. Aw, thank you. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. A lot of you think that they go out of business. A lot of you guys think he goes. I like Bed Bath & Beyond. I really do. It's one of my favorite stores to go to just because it's got so much stuff in it. They go bust and apologize for going woke. Yeah. Why did I read that? Why did I read that? I told you I don't want to do politics. Sorry. Nobody thinks that they might get bought up. The only reason Coke is doing well is because people are addicted to sugar. I gotta cheer that because that's true. That's true. What does woke mean? No, Kevin, we're not getting into that. No, hold on. No, hold on. No, we're not getting into that. We're not getting shy. We're not getting into that about what woke is. Joanne never liked Bed Bath & Beyond. I like Bed Bath & Beyond went broke and closed here years ago, grossly overpriced. I like it. I do like it. I do like it. All right, Coke's making money with $8 12 packs. Joanne is right. A lot of people are on that sugar. They on that sugar. You saw on Friday, pour some sugar on me. I hate you for that, Joey. I'm still mad at you about that. Still mad at you about that. Net zero sugar Coke. You know something? I'm a Pepsi drinker, but I do drink zero sugar Pepsi. I don't know if that's bad, but if employment drives tax receipts, not asset prices, why would tax receipts be down this year? I don't know how I can answer. I don't know, Dan. I know. Have a good day, Kevin. I don't know, and I don't want to try to answer it and put my foot where it don't belong. So I don't know, Dan. All right. Earnings this week. We looked at that already. Let's talk about, for those people who are a little bit more aggressive, I got an NPI stocks for you for the short term. So this is for a couple of days or more. Let's go look at these on the 1 month graph. Ooh, I did like it. I don't like it now. It's above the 20-day exponential moving average. Earnings are falling. I don't like earnings growth is rising though, but I don't like that anymore. LC RT is rising. It is above the 20-day exponential moving average. I would keep my eye on this. This is a $7.39 stock. What else? Man, TMPO. Was this an earnings? No, it was not earnings. Something pushed this stock's price higher today. 22%. 28 days ago. Let's go to press release. I don't know what pushed this stock's price higher today, but it's up like 28%. But look at that. A lot of people are taking profits on that. Be careful on that one as well. For those people who are looking longer term, swing trades in the current market's conditions, I'm going to tell you to be careful trying to swing trade in the current market's conditions. Because of the big moves up and down, up and down, up and down, be careful trying to swing trade in this current market. I'm going to look at this, though, on a 3-month graph from a swing trade perspective. Above the 20, bounced off of a level of support. I'm not feeling the earnings, though. But I'm looking at the graph, bottom left, top right, after consolidating. New 3-month high. TNYA, Tenea Therapeutics. Wow, rising earnings growth. RT above 1. This could be a little bit of a parabolic move. Selling pressure, selling pressure, selling pressure. Be careful with it. I do like the move. It's grossly overvalued, though, right now. Be careful with that. But if from a longer-term perspective, CLW could be at the beginning of a nice upturn. Broke through not only above the 20-day exponential moving average, but broke through 2 levels of resistance. RT is above 1. Rising earnings. Earnings growth doesn't look all that great, but rising earnings. CLW, I want you guys to put this on your hit list. John says, Glenn, I think all diet sodas are bad. They affect your hunger levels. Ooh. It's worse than heroin, says Joanne. Joanne is really against this sugar stuff. Go ahead, Joanne. Let's go to my next stock on the list. Why did I pick this? Joey picked this. I don't know why Joey picked this stock. I swear I don't know why he did that. That's a silly pick, Joey. Silly pick.
I didn't pick that.
You did pick that. Joey picked this. I don't know why he picked this stock. I'm just going to move past it. Joey didn't pick this stock, though. I did. I don't like the falling earnings, but I do like, from a technical perspective, coming off a level of support, breaking above the 20-day and undervalued. I would put this on my watch list as well. Glenn, you told us to have a look at Progressive Corp doing pretty well. I did? Man. Joey didn't pick that either. Joey didn't pick that stock. What happened to AMPH profit taken? All right, I'll look at a couple of your stocks. I wasn't going to, but I am now. I only got 6 minutes to do this. All right, let's go to graphs. I'm only going to look about 5 of your stocks. So ECTM 1, TO 2, AMPH 3, SoFi 4. One more. The next one. Joey, give me a stock. Oh, he wants to be quiet now. Oh,
AMZN.
Amazon, AMZN. All right. Let's go peep these out real quick. Put this on a 3-month graph. Put this on 3-month graph. Ooh, ECTM. Falling earnings per share, falling dividends, falling earnings growth. Right at a level of resistance. 151 RV. It's got good upside. It is undervalued. I just don't think that with this move, I don't think that it's substantiated by anything fundamentally. All right, that's the only thing. I do like the open candle. It is stopping right at that level of $1.51. Before I take on this trade, it's got to break out of that level of $1.51. All right, let me see what I can do, Chris. All right, next one, Tio. It's like uncle in Spanish. This must be, nope, it's right at value. 45-degree angle. Nice open day, rising earnings growth, relative value at 1.4, and it's in an uptrend. Earnings growth 34%. I don't mind this stock. I'm looking at a 3-month graph. I'd like to see it take out that 3-month high. The volume, when it was rising volume, a little bit of sideways. I don't mind it. The volume is right along with it. There's a lot of conviction to the move when it was moving. Right now, it's not, but that makes sense as the stock is starting to move sideways. I'd like to see it take out that 3-month high of 214. I like everything else about it. RT is above 1. Growth, earnings growth. The dividend, I don't even think they pay a dividend. They don't. Earnings per share, I like the play. I do like, I like the play. I'd really like to see it take out the 3-month high. ECTM is downtrending. Yeah. I like that it's above the. I'm yeah, I'm not going to say that I want to take ACTM. All right, there's TO. Wow, AMP. I don't know what happened with that. Let's go check the news on that. I don't know what happened with that. It's down 7% today. Eli Lilly divests low blood sugar drug. Amphastar. Wow. It gets rid of it? Did it get rid of it? Will divest low blood sugar. By the way, for anybody who's interested, the VA has now approved me for CGM. I'm going to get a continuous glucose monitor. Kind of happy about that. Low blood sugar, also hypoglycemia. California will buy it. Will buy what? Oh, they're going to buy this Baqsimi? Oh, that's what it is. Amphastar. Can somebody back me up on that? Am I reading that right? That Amphastar is buying this Baqsimi? Yes? Is that what I'm reading right? That's what I think. Anybody back me up on that on the story? That's what I think I'm reading? No, I'm not getting the implant. Doctor ain't, is that what it is? Yes, that's what it says. All right. So they spent a lot of money. That's what it looks like. But you know something? Prior to that, the stock looks freaking awesome. Linda says no. I'm thinking that's what it looks like. And if that's the case, could that be why the stock's priced? Because they spent a lot of money into it? All right, well, what about Mullen? Ugh. You guys keep asking me for more stocks. I got to go soon. I want to look more into this story. I like the stock prior to today. But even with today's activity, it's still above the 20-day. I want to look at doing a story on that. AMPH. I like that idea. I might have to think about that. SoFi sideways. No, not just quite yet. It's just moving sideways. Amazon, same kind of scenario, moving sideways. Cliff may be starting to pop tomorrow. This market is overvalued. You know why the market is overvalued, Linda? Because a lot of people are throwing money into the market because they don't want to put it in the bank. A lot of people are throwing money into the market because they don't want to put it in the bank because they're not HAYW, and that's the biggest thing. Cliff, Mullen, you wanted to look at, what did you say? Can we look at oil and gold? Yep, USO, and Huey. All right, this is going to be my last little bit of stocks. Let's go look at the 3-month. There's Hayworth. Big move, nice move up today. A little bit of a doji stone. What's the word I'm looking for? Gravestone doji. That's a bearish sign on the stock. That's definitely a bearish sign on the stock. Falling earnings growth. I'm not feeling that right now, and it's trending lower. But that's a doji, gravestone doji that's probably got a chance to go down tomorrow. Cleveland Cliff bouncing, you know something, I'm not even going to call it a level of support. That's a 3-month graph, 6-month graph. 6-month graph. This stock is just going, I'm not looking at this to pop this way. Let's go to earnings. It's not an earnings play. Man, you could say that you think it's going to pop. I'm not thinking about getting into Cleveland Cliff until it goes above the 20-day. I do like the rising earnings. I don't like the falling earnings growth. I need, you know something, I can get in even earlier if it breaks above this level of 1658. It's got 2 levels, 3 levels. I'll take that off. It's got 2 levels of resistance plus that trend line. It's got 2 levels of resistance plus that trend line. I'm not looking at it until it can get above something. All right, nice open day today. No wick at the top. That's fine. I'm not sure I'm ready to jump on that. Mullen got to that level of the resistance or the trend line and boom, falling right back down. I do like the earnings growth. The earnings per share is falling. I'm not ready to touch it. Not until it's ready to break above that level of the 20-day exponential moving average. Let's go look at the next stock. U.S. oil bounced today. A little bit of a bounce today. Am I thinking that it's going to run? I'm not thinking that it's going to run just yet. And I think it's going to be day over day over day, day by day. It's really going to be a day by day thing. It is above the 20-day. That's a positive sign. But the volume is not there to back it up right now. And then I look at the Huey, which is gold, falling. And with today's activity, it looks like it's going to close below the 20-day. Which means I'm not a fan of buying into gold right now. How about it came off the high for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5 out of the last 6 days been moving down. I'm not ready to touch gold. If you're in it, you need to think. If you're not already out of it, you need to think about it. All right, with that, I'm done. Ooh, who did that? I did that. There we go. I'm done. Go long oil. Dan, I'm not trying to tell nobody to go long oil yet. You know me. I'm not gonna try to push anybody in any direction. I want you to let the market dictate what you do. That's why we look at the graphs. That's just why we look at the graphs. So I don't have to guess and say, hey, go do this or go do that. That's not what I want to do, Dan. I want to be unlike everybody else out there. That's not my job is to give you what you need to hear. Get to what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. All right. If you felt that being here today was worth your time, hit the like button. Just hit the like button. All right. If you're brand new to the channel and you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon. All right. Those are the only 2 things that I can ask you to do. My job is to present you with the information. Your job is to make the decision. All right. Your job is to make the decision. My job is not to push your decision. All right. So I'm not going to say go long oil yet. I looked at oil, I looked at gold as you asked me to, and I gave my insights based upon what I saw, not based upon what I think. All right. So with that, I'm done. Nice session today. Covered many relevant topics. Thanks for your effort. You too, Glenn. Joey, have a great day. All right. You know, I love you guys, and that's why I'm here, and this is why I want to be different. We want to do the work so you guys can reap the rewards. That's what it's all about. All right. Adios. Ciao, au revoir, sayonara, aloha to all my peeps in Hawaii. Bom dia. Salam, shalom, namaste. Yasu. Until next time, folks. See ya.